Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back. So guys, as part of the previous session, we have seen how exactly we can retrieve a single value. Okay, right, a single value from the company name, right? So today, what we are targeting to do here is let us get all the company values and print them. Okay, as the first set. And the second set is going to be let us get all the contact names. And the third set, let us get all the country basically, and at last, let us get all the values in one shot and let us print that. So what I'm gonna do right now is whatever the program that we have created, I'm just copy pasting that particular program again, and I'm naming it as a web table 2. Okay, so and I'm naming it as a web table 2. So here I don't want these lines of a code. I just commented these lines of a code for now. Okay, so here, if you observe what we were doing, how many rows are there in the table? All those rows information is already there in a tables row. So we can use a simple for loop in getting that particular information. So as and when I started typing for, my copilot is prompting me the suggestions, hence I'm just accepting that particular suggestion. Okay, so I just want to go with okay, table row. This is the one, and here await less than, and maybe I can add an await here. Okay, so for let I is equal to 1, I less than this I plus plus, and here and this particular loop. Okay, perfectly all right. So what I'm gonna do right now, so we need to select the desired row. So here my copilot is prompting me that constant row is equal to from the tables row. Okay, from the tables row, whatever the nth element is there, that particular nth element. So here my data is starting from the second row, hence my I value is starting from 2. Okay, and in which the locator that we want is a TD of a 1. Perfectly all right, TD of a 1, that's it. And right now the simple point that we need to use here is we just need to get that particular data. So here the simple thing is constant row text is equal to await row dot row content, and I'm just printing it. So from this I'm using a text content method, or you can also use an inner text method that we have seen in the previous session, and you can directly print it. So this is a simple for loop using which you can retrieve this particular value. Let me try to run this particular one. So I'm just changing it to spec file to 2. Okay, I'm just changing this spec file to 2, and let me run it. So once the inspector got loaded, then we will see how exactly it's retrieving that information. Let's wait for the inspector session to load. Okay, let's wait for the inspector session to load. Okay, so but this is the way how exactly you can read all the values from the table. So the simple thing here is I created a for loop, and using that for loop I'm trying to read all those values. So let me press a step over. See, all the rows got highlighted, and again the step over. See, the individual element is highlighting. If you go back to the program, see, the complete data is being printed. Okay, the complete data is being printed. Okay, so if you observe right now, it's just printing from here. Okay, it's just printing from here. Let me change it to I equal to 1 once again, and let me run this program. So ideally it should start from the first row itself. So let me start this particular program again, and let us see how this is gonna work out. Okay, perfectly all right. So it's getting executed. So this is the way how exactly we can read the data from a table, guys. Okay, perfectly all right. So all the data got retrieved and it got printed down. So there is an issue here. It's just printing. Okay, so the program that I have executed is a table 1. I need to execute the table 2. Let me rerun this particular table 2 again. Okay, let me rerun this particular table 2 again. Okay, let it load, and then we'll see that. So once it got loaded, we will execute that content so that we will see whether it is printing the whole information or not. So if you look at it, the complete information is being printed down to the console. This is one way of reading it. So which is a for loop. We can also use a f for each loop as well in order to get this particular content. But the better way here is to use a for loop. And what I'm gonna do right now, if I change this index to 2, whatever the second column value is there, it will retrieve it. If I change this index value to 3, whatever the third column value is there, it's gonna get that particular information. Now let us see f for each loop significance. So here cons say automatically my copilot is prompting me the suggestions. I'm just accepting that, and I'm just accepting this too. So here what it's gonna happen. So constant row of a table dot all, basically whatever the values are there, all those values, constant dot row text from this particular row, whatever this column value is there, get that particular column value and try to print it td of a 2. So in this situation what it's going to happen is, using the for each loop, the second column data would be printed down to the console. Okay, let it load so that we can execute it and we can see that information what it's being printing down to the console. Okay, row dot locator dot first. So here we didn't use a first, but here it is looking for this particular first. Something went wrong here. Okay, something went wrong here. So let me stop this execution. So this is the code that it was populated from the Copilot itself. Await. This is working on all the rows. Await row dot locator. Okay, row dot locator, and it's gonna be on the second element, right? Row. So that row is pointing to that particular complete row. Dot locator td of a 2. For suppose if I remove this particular row and let us see this. Okay, the locator, if I remove it and if I see this once, let us see if anything is being printed down. Okay, this time, earlier it doesn't work, so this time I just removed it and I just want to check it out how this is going to work out. So let us see this. Okay, let it load. Yeah, let me execute it. And if you see this time, the complete information, we haven't specified any table or any table column. So this time, the complete data from that table got retrieved and it got printed down to the console. Okay, this is the way how exactly we can read the data. So this is the dynamic content of reading the table, guys. Okay, dynamically we are reading the content as suggested. We will be using more a for loop in order to read the data from this table. Okay, perfectly all right. See you again in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye bye.